Hey guys, today I am outside. I know it's a bit of a change of scenery, but I have something to share that I've been thinking about for a long time, and I figured it was a good enough topic to make a video about. So I want to talk about privacy and why it's so fascinating to me. Things like cell tower triangulation, encryption differences between security-first messengers, metadata differences between private email providers, noise in VPN connections to prevent people from knowing what you're connecting to inside a VPN tunnel. These are the kind of concepts I've talked about for over a decade now, and it's been awesome. I mean, it is my passion. It's something that I get a lot of value from because I find it interesting. And I feel like to this day, I'm really able to scratch that itch, especially on those Techlore Talks interviews where I bring on literally the top experts in the world in their specific niche to just talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about for 1 to 2 hours. And the whole time during that interview, I'm sitting back there going, oh my God, this is so cool. And not just doing those interviews, but many of those people I actually get to meet in person. So just absolute pleasure all around to be here and be able to do what I do because it's awesome. And of course, none of that passion is going anywhere, and it's probably going to stay there for a long time. And I did a lot of soul searching. What did chasing after those extreme privacy measures actually deliver me? When I used Tor browser all day for some of my web traffic, when I moved to a more hardcore messenger to test it out, when I move all of my backups offline to see what a trustless model looks like. And the honest answer, very little benefit to almost none. Even knowing the things I've learned by putting this content together and going on this journey myself, a lot of these things I do, yes, I can give you the general benefits you'll get from a privacy perspective between each of these tools, but what does that actually mean? What did those benefits actually provide? What did they actually result in? What was the tangible end result that actually changed my life in any meaningful way? And well, there was one easy one for me, which is it was good information, it was good knowledge, and it was good research for this channel because I get to cover all these things in this channel. And again, that is why I'm so grateful to have this channel and to have all of you who even tune in to care about what I say. But there was a key insight here as well, which was that I was maximizing kind of for the sake of maximizing. See, for over a decade, I saw privacy as some kind of absolute end. Like we are working towards trying to achieve as much privacy as we realistically can within our lives. And for the record, I don't think that view is wrong, but I had a nice little eye-opening moment too, which is that privacy in itself doesn't need to be an end. It can also be a means to an end. Some real world examples that I can give all of you of what privacy actually can deliver. It can keep journalists safe from repressive regimes. It lets viewers like you watch this content in regions where it's literally banned and you're not supposed to be able to watch it. That wouldn't be possible to do without some privacy tools. It's also currently preventing ID verification for people who don't want to have to upload their ID just to access basic information on the internet in regions where they have currently passed age verification. And it's not just for regular people. Governments rely on privacy as well. There's a reason why chat control, which tried to get rid of end-to-end encryption, still literally implemented exceptions for politicians so that they could still have privacy. The police force similarly uses privacy to catch criminals. Everybody actually can benefit from privacy in some way, shape, or form to achieve whatever result they're trying to achieve. That end is up to each person. But there's actually a second revelation here, which is there are countless topics that are tangibly related to privacy that overall I'd say encompass what I've been talking about as digital rights. And this really clicked for me in a forum thread. Now, our forum is, shutting down in a few months, but it's read-only, so I'm going to still talk about it because you can still all view this thread. There was this new phone developed by Nova Custom, and the overall concept is, hey, free hardware and free software. And mind you, phones are not an easy thing to make. You don't just wake up one day and create a phone and start shipping a phone to hundreds, if not thousands of people. That is a kind of crazy idea. And now this forum that we had that I thought was a place that people could share their cool projects they're working on and share things they're trying to do to push the community forward, which I felt this phone was doing, was just met with some negativity. Oh, it wasn't private enough. Oh, this wasn't secure enough. Oh, this doesn't align with the operating system that I want on the phone. Meanwhile, we were completely missing the fact that this was a complete phone that was built on open hardware, so anybody could theoretically make this phone themselves, right to repair built into it. It was completely open, so theoretically if people had issues with its privacy or security, they could make those changes themselves to improve it for the larger community as a whole. And I don't think we do a good enough job of zooming out and seeing that. You know, when we talk about Google preventing sideloading on Android devices, we're not thinking about the fact that this can be done because there really is no mainstream third alternative to both iOS and Android. Yes, there's Linux phones, but they don't have any kind of mainstream market adoption, so there is no competition and there's no reason to open up. Google is only incentivized to shut down like their only other competitor, which is iPhones. I also don't think that people want to acknowledge the fact that Android's open source nature is part of why there are so many good privacy and security projects that can even flourish and exist on Android in the first place. We simply wouldn't have the privacy and security community without the open source community, without the right to repair community, without the Linux community, without the security community. All of these communities are all fighting for an overall similar goal, which is improving people's digital rights and their relationship with technology. Privacy doesn't exist in a void. Privacy can only exist if the laws allow it to exist, if encryption is actually allowed, if it's not being backdoored, if companies aren't being shut down over their privacy practices and they're trying to protect their customers, if operating systems allow open source app stores and apps to compete just as regular proprietary apps can, if they have access to the same APIs, if there's the ability to interoperate between devices and apps and app stores, like all of these fights are all connected. I want to empower all of you to make a conscious decision. If your end is learning more about privacy and experimenting and researching for fun because you think it's fun and educational, that's great. Like, please do that. We actually need people like that, but make it a conscious decision. As long as you're actively deciding that that's what privacy is delivering for you, then that's great. But for many of you out there, that's probably not what's going on. You're probably getting into privacy to protect your journalism, to access information freely, to explore other technologies that you find fascinating in a safe way that doesn't jeopardize your data. Maybe it's just to build a more secure life and you care more about security, but privacy is required for that as well. Or maybe it's just to keep yourself and the people around you a little bit safer because you care about them and you worry about the way technology's headed. Whatever that answer is, which all of you, I would argue, should reflect on, is kind of your compass, and it's going to point the direction in which your digital rights journey as a whole is going to move. And I think it can actually really help answer that riddle of threat modeling for a lot of people. Let those thoughts and answers, questions, whatever you kind of dive deep down into, let that guide which privacy tools you choose to use, how hardcore you need to go. Maybe you do need to go really hardcore, maybe you don't. When do you say this is enough? I actually have all of the protection I need at this point in time. That is what you need to decide. If there's ever a mismatch between your goals and what you're actively doing, that's something that needs to be corrected in any kind of context. If you have health goals, but you're doing something that doesn't align with those goals, we need to correct that. And we all know that time is the most valuable asset. And so I don't want you guys to waste your time. I want you to actually get to where you need to go as quickly as possible. And I think the best way to do that is to even know where you're going in the first place. So yeah, I have notes that I'm going to be reading off here. Privacy isn't a destination when you arrive and you are done. It's a tool, one of many, that helps you live according to your values. For me, that still means I love diving into the tech, so I'm still going to be doing coverage for it, especially on Techlore Talks. I feel like that's where I really get to scratch that itch. I think I already said that earlier, but that is really where I get to dive into that. But I'm also well aware now that a lot of the things I talk about in interviews, I don't even necessarily have to apply to my regular life in order to still overall be satisfied with where my current protections are based on the goals I have for my own privacy. So whether you're somebody who wants to go balls to the wall and make yourself as private as possible, or you're somebody who just needs a more secure messenger to chat with your friends and family, or anywhere in between those two places, as long as you make an active decision on what your goals are and the tools that you're choosing to use and the workflows that you set up actually point you towards that direction, you're actually doing it right. Because ultimately, I would argue privacy is about freedom, and freedom includes the freedom to choose how much privacy you even want in the first place. I don't think people need to be 100% private, and that is not possible. So You need to choose, and you need the freedom to choose how much privacy is good enough for you. And that is overall the position I want us to fill. If you go on our resources page where we share privacy tools, we do share some advice that people go, oh my God, that's not private as I'd like it to be. I know we share macOS on there, but you know what? macOS is on there because it's a better alternative than Windows for a lot of people. And there's a lot of configurations you can do on macOS on that same resources page, by the way, that allow you to actually use it in a more private way. But of course, we still recommend Linux because it's a choice that we want you to make. We don't want to make the choice for you. My job here is to be an educator and translate the things I learn to all of you in ways that might be helpful to all of you. And my goal isn't to make decisions on your behalf. My goal is just to give you information. If you find it useful, then fantastic. And if you don't, then that's fine too. Someone else probably found it useful. And this will continue in our content. We'll still cover the hardcore privacy stuff because frankly, I love it and I'm still gonna talk about it because it's something I enjoy, but we're also gonna cover the broader digital rights issues that still protect our ability to even use those tools in the first place. I find it so ironic nowadays to see these debates on social media and forums and online communities that are like, oh, this end-to-end encrypted messenger has slightly better encryption than this one, and the metadata protection is a little bit better than this one. Meanwhile, governments are straight up banning all end-to-end encryption, period. And I want to be a part of all of those fights, and I want Techlore to be a part of those fights, because I think that all of those fights are equally important, and they all help build each other up. It's not just about one fight, it's about building a better ecosystem for all of these players and all of these people to actually build each other up. So keep maximizing if that's what brings you joy. Keep learning if that's what's giving you value, but also make sure you're being intentional. And don't forget about the broader fight. And I hope you'll all join me as we try to figure out the best ways to try to fight against some of these crazy things that are being proposed all around the world right now. It's pretty scary to see the direction a lot of technology is moving. And the only bright side is I feel like we've never had more people involved in the fight, because people are waking up and they're seeing what these big tech companies are doing. They're seeing what governments are doing and how they're unable to respond to those big tech companies. And it feels like all across the board, people feel like there's a clampdown happening in their technological lives. I hope you all join me on this. Make sure to stay subscribed because we'll be sure to do a lot more coverage. And on this note, Chat Control 1.0 is trying to be extended. So if you want to learn more, I talked about this in my weekly tech news roundup thingamajinger episodes, whatever you want to call them. Surveillance support, that was what it's called. You'll see a card here on screen or something that you can click on. So I hope you enjoyed it to learn a little bit more about the news. I'll see you guys next time on Techlore, and maybe you'll see Outdoor Henry again. Let me know if you like Outdoor Henry.